Okay, let's begin. So, Manitoba Hydro, read. Manitoba Hydro needs to know how much power you use because they want to charge you for it, right? So this is what an analog one, and Brandon here was saying that his is digital, and mine is digital at home as well. And it's actually, the digital ones are a little bit more confusing, I find. Yeah? Pardon me?
They just put it in there.
Oh, is that right? Okay, so maybe you can have a look at it, or I should take a picture of mine and bring it in. You got to sort of know a little bit more what you're doing, it seems, to use them. Anyways, these are energy dials. Now, the weird thing about them is, in a clock, if you look at the clock up there, all the hands turn which way? Clockwise. Of course, right? But these ones, half of them will go clockwise, and the other half go counterclockwise. So you got to know which way they're going. Now, I have no idea why that works, or why that is like that. Many electricity meters have 4 dials. Meters with 5 dials or digital displays are also common. I think those are the newer ones. Reed, is there a problem? Is there a problem, guys? No. Okay. Because I'm trying to teach you. The meter numbers displayed on your electricity meter. When entering your meter number, do not include the letters MH. What do you think the MH stands for? Manitoba Hydro. They know who you are. Instead, add another 0 at the beginning to make it 7-digit number. So the above meter shows Manitoba Hydro 062189. So this meter number would be 00. Okay, whatever. Who cares? No one cares about that. Okay, dial display. This I actually pulled right off Manitoba Hydro's website. You're not listening there, are you? Because it sure looks like you're doing that. With your earbud. Pardon me? No, not you, Chris, but you. No. Okay, just check. Because I need you to listen, right? Okay. Draw the exact position of the dial hands in your electricity meter on the blank dials on the meter reading card. From the position of the dial hands, record the meter reading under the dial. See the example reading shown below. You may not have this one on your meter at home. That's okay. Okay, so this one here is drawn in. Now, the guy in the video, which way did he read them from? He went left to right. I did a little research. The meter readers actually prefer to read them the other way, and there's a reason for that. Remember him talking about how sometimes it shows up right on the border and you can't tell? The only way to tell is to look to this one here, right? And so if you're reading from left to right, to read this one, you got to go to this one. So what they suggest is that you actually go right to left, kind of way. Okay, so this one here, which way is it turning? Clockwise, exactly. You'll notice that it says 1,000. We're talking about 1,000 watt hours. Okay, and more on that in a bit. So this has gone from 0 and it's going towards 1. Okay, but it hasn't gotten to 1 yet. So we read a 0. It hasn't got to 1 yet. Here we read a 5. This one has just passed 5. When will it get to 6? When this one goes all the way around. Now notice that between 9 and 0, like it should really be the 0 count after it's been to 9, the 0 is really 10, right? You know what I mean? Kind of like number, right? You know what I mean?
Every time the 1,000 does rotation, the 10,000 moves one.
Moves 1, exactly.
That's rotation.
There you go. What he said. Exactly. So this is a 5. This one is a 9. Okay? Don't get confused. The guy in the video said always pick the lower number, but it's different when it's 9 and 0, right? Here you have to realize which way it's going. It's just past 9. It hasn't gotten to 10 yet, so it's a 9, right? Okay, and that was an 8. That's your meter reading for that day. Tomorrow, which one of those 4 dials will have changed? Only this one, right? And depending on how much power you use, in a day, it probably wouldn't get to 1. In a week, it would certainly get past 1 or 2. Okay? So this is the one that moves much quicker. These ones move really slow. This one hardly moves at all. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah? Good, Reed? Makes sense? I'm speaking English? If you've got a digital display, you have to wait for the electricity meter display to show the letters KWH, which stands for? Let's write it in there. What do you think it stands for? Kilowatt hours. Kilowatt hours. That's what it stands for. What does kilo mean?
Kilogram. No, doesn't mean
1,000. Kilowatt hours means 1,000 watt hours. You only pay in increments of 1,000 watt hours. You can't go buy like 2 kilowatt hours. Or sorry, 2 watt hours. Okay, Jonathan? Good? Okay, so when you're reading the digital one, it's going to pop up and say kWh, and then that tells you what the reading is. That's just what it is for that day. Okay, here's another example. Do you want me to do it with you, or do you want to try it? Do the first one? Okay. We're going to read right to left. This one is between, it's moving clockwise, it's between the 1 and the 2, so it's going to be a 1. This one is going this way, it's between the 1 and the 2, it's going to be a 1. This one's between 5 and 6, it's going to be a 5. This one's between 6 and 7, it's going to be a 6, and that one isn't even there. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being crazy hard and 1 being crazy easy, what number is that?
0.
It's pretty easy, isn't it? This is guaranteed. You know how people in the last rotation, the only way they didn't get 4 out of 4 on this was they didn't hand it in. Hard to believe. That's how easy these marks are. Okay, go ahead and do example number 3, and then I'm going to give you the answer. Okay, did you get this one? Did everyone finish example 3? Again, we're going to read right to left. So this one now has gone down to the 3 and 4, so it's going to be a 3. This one is still 1. This one is 5, and it didn't change. What changed? Just like Darren said, only that last one's going to change. Really, on a regular basis, right? What would be the difference between these two readings? Difference means what? Subtract. So we're going to subtract here. So we're going to take, and yeah, I know you guys can do this in your head. It's going to be 6513 minus 6511, and it's 2. It's 2 kilowatt hours, or 2,000 watt hours. It's either 2 kilowatt hours or 2,000 watt hours. And Manitoba Hydro doesn't even care about watt hours. They're so small, it's like pennies. They get rid of them, right? It's 2 kilowatt hours. Now, how much do you think 2 kilowatt hours costs? Well, let me tell you.
Okay.
I got this wrong here. This is wrong. I did this wrong. Hang on. I did this. Okay? Every kilowatt hour in Manitoba is 7.831 cents. Someone said the other day, we were talking at lunch, a bunch of nerd teachers sitting around, and we were talking about electricity, and someone said, yeah, well, how much would that even cost? Like, how much does hydro cost in Manitoba? And I said, 7.831 cents. They all looked at me like I'm some kind of nerd. And I'm like, what? I know that number. Teach it every day. No big deal. You guys didn't know that number?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, now you do. 7.831 cents. That's what the current rate is. So that would cost you a whopping 15 cents to Manitoba Hydro for that amount of power. Now you might be interested, like, how much does it cost to run, like, a light bulb, right? Or like a fan back there, or stuff like that. We'll get into that, okay? Your TV. We're going to get into that. The only reason I do this first is because I want you to do some reading. Now, in Manitoba, we are lucky, Charlie. You know why? Because our hydro is cheap.
Yeah, but our living expenses are.
Taxes. It's taxed that are higher, like city taxes.
Okay? Is that right? That's getting, I think it's getting more competitive, though. I think you're right. Yeah, I don't know. Why do you think? Let's have a look here at what hydro costs. We know that in Canada, the average price is 10 cents. Yes, 3. In Canada, the average is 10 cents. So we're cheaper here in Manitoba, about 7, almost 8 cents. Other parts of Canada, more expensive, right? Look at this. Denmark, 41 cents. You think so? Why do you say that?
So Canada's cheaper, we make our own power.
We make our own, so you think that they don't make their own because they're buying it from someone else and they want to make a profit. Right, you're right.
Because India and China probably make their own power too, because
They are very, look how cheap China is. 8 cents, India 8 cents, Russia 11, Australia 29 cents. How do we make, well, how much would this amount of power cost in Spain? So in Spain at 30 cents, right? instead of being what we had here, how much was ours? 15 cents here. In Spain, that would be 2 times 30, it'd be 60 cents. In Denmark, it'd be 2 times 41, 82 cents. You can see how your power bill would be a whole lot higher there, wouldn't it, right? We've already answered this question. Why do you think the price is so much higher there? Darren thinks it's because they have to buy it. Get out the Googlers. Get out the Googlers and Google, why is electricity so much in Spain? Okay, you get us the answer. I'm going to do attendance. I am thinking that in places like China and India, they have, a lot of these places will use nuclear energy, which is efficient. I think Denmark uses wind energy. Now the problem with wind energy is it's not as abundant. There's not as much of it. Is the wind always blowing? It seems like it here in Dauphin, this is what my wife always says, but it doesn't always blow as much, and sometimes it just isn't there, right? So they really want, in those countries, they really want people to conserve energy so that the wind energy can produce enough to do that, right? Now, interestingly enough, I was in Greece, isn't up there. I was in Greece a few years ago in the summer. It was really hot, like 35, 40 degrees, really humid.
Just gotta do something here.
You just gotta give me that is what you gotta do.
I'll just put it in my pocket.
How about we just put it right there, and then it won't be a distraction for you. Thanks. Put it right there. When I was in Greece a few years ago, you go in a hotel room, you'd like the air conditioning on, wouldn't you, Chris, right? You walk in, it's hot outside, you want the air conditioning on. Air conditioning's not on. The only way to make the air conditioner work is you have to put the key in the door, open the door, and then you take the key and you have to put it in to turn the power on. You don't even have electricity until you put your key in there. Why do they do that? Save energy. And then when you leave, you want to lock your door, don't you, right? And you have to take the key. So what happens to the air conditioning when you leave the room? It goes off.
Usually hotel rooms give you 2.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, how do they do that now?
They give you
That's a good question. I don't remember that. I just remember that the only way to
Well,
leave
you must
is
give
to
you a
turn
separate key, like a different kind of key for that.
I can't remember.
Because then a door key, there could be 2 door keys.
Yeah, you know what? I don't remember. Maybe there's only. You're right. I think it was.
that would make sense.
I think it was
Yeah, I think you just leave that key in the air conditioner, then you wouldn't need.
I can't remember. That's a good question. I don't remember how that works. But I know that the only way you can leave is to turn the power off because they want to save energy, right? We are lucky in Manitoba. We have a lot of energy. Okay? Why do you think, do I have that here? Why do you think the price is so much higher? Why do you think it's so much lower here in Manitoba? We use so?
Down.
There, that's the key right there. He's got it. Write this down. It's on the desk. Why is electricity cheaper in Manitoba? We use water. Is there a spot there for it somewhere? No, there isn't. Why do I not have that? That's weird. Hey, watch this. Want to see something? Watch this. Watch this. I have bad writing, so I'll just do this.
Electrify is cheaper.
Okay, it's not perfect.
It's still wrong.
Okay, maybe it's not that good. There we go. See how great it is? I'll just do this. Why Mason? Okay. Is that a good, entire, complete answer? No, because it's so big deal. We use water.
Electricity is cheaper in Manitoba because we use water.
We use water, and the water is always there. Does it cost anything to get the water? It's just there, and they build a dam, and the water runs through. When the water's done running through, what happens? There's always more. You guys need to listen.
There's always more.
There's always more what? Water.
Let me finish your sentence.
I know, I'm waiting for you to finish. You're paying attention, you know.
Water.
There's always more water, and it doesn't cost anything. It's free. Other places use coal. Where does the coal come from? The mines, and it costs money to get the coal. They gotta pay the miners, they gotta move it, they gotta do that. And the other thing is what happens when you burn that coal? Pollution? It's gone. Well done, Jonathan. It's gone. It can't be reused. The water is always there. Who's moving the water behind the dam all the time?
Me.
Do they have guys with buckets moving the water and this time? They don't have beavers. No, the sun. The sun evaporates the water and then it rains the other side of the dam, right? And the sun ain't going on strike. Okay, so it's cheaper because we use water.
I thought they used those big wheels or that.
Did I get that right? Free to use, and it is renewable. Is that spelled right? I don't think it is. Electricity is cheaper than hydro because we use water and it's renewable. And it's cheap to use. Excellent. Okay. So what do you have to do? When you go home tonight, this is your job. Remember, it's on yellow, so it's going to show up in your portfolio, Jonathan. When you go home tonight, right, I want you to find your hydrometer and read the dial. Okay? You have to do it 5 times. Yeah, that was last rotation. So we're going to do 5 times before I want it done by, we'll say, March 15th.
It's cold out there.
That's the day that this is due. Okay? I want you to write right on there right now. Due March 15th. Jonathan.
So where do you write it?
Anywhere you want, man. Right there. Due March 15th.
I don't know, where do we put that stuff?
On the back.
I'm going to show you right away. Okay? It's yellow. It's going in purple. What are you guys doing back here? Listen. Sit down and quit playing baseball. Okay. These are practice problems. You need to do this right now. There are 1, 2, 3. There's sample ones. You must determine the total power used, and you must determine the total cost. I'm going to mark this right now. You don't get to leave the room until this is done right. This page right here. You've got a ton of time. Okay, I showed you how to do it, and I'll help you again, but you don't leave until it's done.
It doesn't show us counterclockwise.
You're right, it doesn't. You might have to flip
Is
over.
it the same thing?
Same way, yeah.
Done.
Wait, how much is the, or how much is hydro?
You've got it.